Now, we've seen recently where Senator Damion Crawford, Shadow Minister of Education and Training for the People's National Party, has in fact chimed in on the teachers' stance against the wage increase they have been offered by the government. And he held a press conference yesterday emphasizing that the educators have in fact sacrificed enough and should not be expected to sacrifice any further. If my memory serves me correct, I saw where he was asking for a minimum of about an approximate figure, 300,000 or so, 300,000 per month. And the question is, can the government afford it? Where will they get the money from? And maybe he'll have some suggestions in that regard. Of course, yesterday, the Jamaica Teachers Association rejected the Minister of Finance's wage offer once again. This morning, we have Senator Damion Crawford with us. Good morning, Senator. Welcome. How are you doing?
Morning, sir.
Morning, my brothers. How you doing?
We're doing well, Senator. First of all, what are you?
The teachers now are going to sign up for this $1 million program you just mentioned.
They might need to. Because how else are they going to see $1 million?
Yes.
But you are proposing what? I think you quoted 300,000 at a minimum.
Yeah, gross 291. So the gross salary currently being offered is 2.8 million, and we're saying that it's reasonable for 3.5 million gross, so before taxes.
You use the word reasonable, but
yes.
The government would use the word, is it affordable? And maybe you can walk us through how that could be possible.
Well, first of all, we must accept that the government is the only employer that can use affordability as its final conversation. You have no other employer that can say business is going great and then equally say we cannot pay you at the same time. So as an owner of a business, I can tell you that when business is not going good, you can call your staff and say, listen, this is where we are. If we're going to survive, we can't give you more than X, but you must decide if you can accept X. In the contrary, the government is saying the economy is doing well. We are being lauded internationally. They claim, they say it's a miracle or recovery. We have surpassed the pre-COVID levels. These are arguments that they have put forward. And then simultaneously say, but we can't afford to pay. So the listeners must accept what is affordability. Affordability is the ratio of cost to funds available. So I can't afford a boat because the amount of money the boat costs is greater than the funds that I have available. But Mr. Leachin can afford a boat because the amount of money that he has is greater than the funds needed to buy a boat. So what is the funds that the government have? The government have $1 trillion, $1,000 billion. That's what the government has available to it. So what the government chooses to prioritize is going to be important. If they pay the teachers 3.5 million gross, it will cost the government another $20 billion. They will then get $5 billion of that in taxes. So the government will receive back from the people they pay 25% of the pay that they give them. That is why you call it PAYE. Mm-hmm. So the net expense is $15 billion to government. Just 3 weeks ago, the government said they collected $80 billion more than they expected to collect. It's like you go to your ATM and say, I see 8 million more than I expected to see, or 800,000 more than I expected to see. If your child said to you, oh, Daddy, you know that I have school fee to pay of that 8 million more that you expected to see, it is 1.5 million. You can't claim you can't afford it because you got 8 million more than you expected. And this is 1.5 million. So therefore, the availability of funds as versus the funds needed suggests that the government could afford a $15 billion intervention.
Those, I would say, are some strong arguments, in all honesty, Damion. But the 300,000 or 291 net, is that for the entry level or the graduate teachers?
Okay, the 291 gross, I think that's about 250 net. That is for what you call the band 4. So we have about 26,000 teachers. Mm-hmm. The vast majority are in band 4, about 20,000 teachers. Mm-hmm. So the current anxiety exists in band 4 in the main, and the current anxiety for the system also exists in band 4, meaning where the vast majority exists, you first must settle that segment. And then you can go to where the other minorities exist. But the operation of any segment must be dependent on where about 85% of the teachers exist, which is band 4, trained graduate.
Okay.
So the proposal is for the trained graduate to get 291 gross, about 250 net.
Mm-hmm. There is the argument that has been put forward that if the teachers do not accept, then it could be a while yet before they can actually get this this money that has been offered, some $12 billion. Do you agree with that analysis?
No, that's what you call BADMAN negotiation, to say if you don't take this in, you're not going to get it or you're going to be punished. First of all, back pay is what is owed to the teachers, not a gift to the teachers. It's being promoted as if it is a gift. If you owe me my money, then how you pay me is not only up to you. How you pay me also is up to me. What is this back pay for? The government said to the teachers last year and the year before that we will not give you the agreed amount because we have to go through a process of coming to what should be the agreed amount. So take this amount for now, and then when the agreement is made, you will get the addition that you should have gotten. So it's like you're interviewing me for $100,000, and I said, listen, Damion, take $20,000 and I'll give you the next $80,000 when we get the advertisement money in 2 months. When the advertisement money comes, it's not a gift. Mm-hmm. You owe me that $80,000. So when the government claimed that they would have to, by law, not pay immediately, that no law exists that allows for that. First of all, the government says they have some money now in this budget, 2022, 2023. If you have the money now and you don't want it to go in the next budget, which starts April 1st, all you do is to put it in an escrow. So you put it in a designated savings, and whenever the teachers reach agreement, you take it from that designated savings. If you don't want to do an escrow, you put it in the 2023-2024 budget starting April 1st, and you put it in a contingency, meaning that a preparation for a cost, which has always happened on multiple occasions. And if you don't want to do that, you await the agreement, and then you do a supplemental budget. We have done 4 supplementary budget last year. It's a reallocation of funds from other places to the teachers. So nothing other than the power of government is being used to leverage the financial circumstances of the teachers. They know that the teachers are in need. They know that the teachers have debts that they have incurred. They know that the teachers are seeking lump sum payments to buy a car or to do things that their average salary is unlikely to afford. And knowing this, they're seeking to leverage their financial situation. And that is untenable and underhanded by a government. A government shouldn't seek to leverage your suffering against you. A government should seek to alleviate your suffering. And so, therefore, the teachers rightly have resisted that threat.
Okay. Senator Crawford, greetings once again. Shells here. We see what going on in other streets, Senator. Teachers on strike right now, ongoing strike actions, and obviously one of my major concerns are the youth. Them, you understand, the students. Do you think that a lot of persons are saying the strike actions are a bit frequent? What are your views on this? And should the children have to be caught in the middle of this situation?
Well, if a strike action is frequent, then it means that the person striking feels moved at each time to take these actions. So therefore, the real person you have to look at is who is creating an environment for these strike actions to be frequent. It is a concern because we already have learning losses, and we have already not been doing enough to reverse those learning losses. The World Bank suggests that there's a need for $4 billion in investment for us to reverse the learning losses of COVID. In the last 2 years, the government have only put a total of $1 billion to that effort. So therefore, the children are already behind and now going to be extensively behind if the teachers continue to be absent. However, there is a longer-term negative that we must be concerned about. If Jamaica is not competitive for our teachers, then there are going to be shortages of teachers, not just by 1 day and 2 day demonstration, but by 1 year and 2 year inavailability. One school this Sunday had 20 spots that they had openings for, and they were applying for those 20 spots. The teachers have left the classroom, whether they have gone to other industries or they have gone to other countries. Last year, the highest level of teacher migration that the country has ever experienced. And there are schools on average with 6 teachers unavailable and PE teachers holding math classes just for an adult to be present. Now, if you understand the impact of that, every teacher absent impacts up to 160 students, because a secondary school teacher will have 4 cohorts. So let's say like I teach secondary school upper level math. I'll have 2 10 grades and 2 11 grades that I must teach. Each of them have 40 students. So every time one teacher becomes unavailable to a school, you have 160 students that don't have whether a trained teacher or an experienced teacher to teach them. So currently, for example, some principals have asked me to come to some math classes because it is the PE teacher that is hosting the math class, not teaching the math class, but just being there so that no fight and no coming out of class and no disturbance of other classes. And so there's a longer term of being demotivated teachers, disenfranchised teachers, and dissatisfied teachers of a full term or a full semester or a full year of absence as versus 2 years of industrial action.
Senator, in the context where the teachers are really not the only segment of the public servants that are making these demands, you proposed further increase to the tune of about 20 billion, I think is what you said.
Right.
But then there's also the police and other sectors that the government have to contend with.
Right.
Do you still believe that the funds can be found to satisfy pretty much all of these sectors?
Oh, yes, for sure. We have, as I said, $1 trillion. That was a boast that the government recently made. $1 trillion is $1,000 billion. That's what we have available within our budget. So the real question is, what are the priorities? I don't see why a police practitioner, a nurse, and a teacher isn't really treated as similar within a band. Why is it that a person risking their life, even if they say, oh, the teacher have a degree, but the police might not. But the police is taking higher risk. So therefore, that should compensate for some of the remuneration that individual is taking. Or you might say, oh, the teacher don't work on weekends. That is in the classroom. The teacher don't teach on weekends. But the teacher mark papers on weekends. The teacher prepare for class on weekends. That is also part of the job. So I don't see why we shouldn't treat teachers, police, and nurses at level A in the same way. Of course, overtime and thing will be different. And teachers, police, and nurses at level B in the same way as a priority. The government can't seek to benefit from no new taxes as a political ploy, no increase in salaries to teachers as a political ploy, and then claim that they want to fix more roads. And if they give the teachers money, they can't fix more roads. The teachers should not be subsidizing road fixing. The teachers have indicated that the current take-home of $174,000 leaves them in a hole of $41,000. And these people are saying their rent is $46,000 a month. That is one of the lowest rents I've ever heard in my life. So therefore, if a teacher is paying rent of $70,000 or $80,000 per month, which is not New Kingston, then half of their salary is going just into
rent
a
alone.
home and a board. Then how are they going to pay their children's school fee? If a teacher's daughter wants to be a doctor and study at the university for $2.4 million, then that is the entire teacher's salary.
Yeah. Now, do you believe the government will yield?
The government should yield, but I don't know if they will, because the government have been willing to be bad to the people, meaning act as if they're dominant. They have been willing to spread rumors like it's a politically motivated action when 96% said no and 66% recently said no. And they've also seemed to be willing to sacrifice the children. So if the government isn't moved to believe that this is very, very important, they may not yield, but I don't think the teachers will yield either.
So you don't have any reason? Do you have any reason to believe that the 2 casual days for today and tomorrow could very well be extended and the strike action could continue to next week?
Many teachers would not be consistent in going 5, 6, 7 days, but they may have multiple 2 days or multiple 1 day, because the teachers have great concern for the students. That is why $20,000 of their salary is for welfare on average. And if you look at a teacher working 20 days a month, which is 5 days for 4 weeks, and they have 3 children that they have some relationship with out of the 1,400. If you buy 3 children lunch for the day, that's $1,000 for 1 patty and 1 box drinks each. So many of the teachers are committed to the students, are being a part of the welfare remuneration, and I don't think they will go a long-term one time, but they may go multiple 2 days or multiple 1 days to show their disaffection. What is the greatest negative is that they may leave the country and leave the classroom at the end of the year and leave us with the grand shortage that we have been facing.
Damion Crawford, Senator Damion Crawford, thank you once again, and have a good day, my brother.
Respect,
My
sir.
brother, I'll always have a good day. Thank you, and same to you. King.
Respect.
Much
Yeah,
appreciated.
man, but see, I get more confident in things to respect.
Give thanks,
Yeah.
Fortis, you know it go. Respect.
All right, that's Senator Damion Crawford, of course, Shadow Minister of Education and Training.